just turned upside down. People in my
Mm-hmm.
leadership, they began to turn on me. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, wow, God, I never thought I would go through this. Like, why did I have to go through this? And I remember that word that the pastor released in my life, like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I had people try to take my ministry, talk bad about me, and I know they talk bad about me. But then I had to try my best, because it hurt. It hurt when you love people so much and they kick you to the curb, they use you and abuse you, and you know how they really feel about you, but you can't like take it to the streets with them. You got to be
Yeah,
loving and
yeah,
kind.
yeah.
So I had to pray for those folks. I had to keep this heart right and not lash out on them, but really love them. And it took this is the truth, it hurt, it really hurt
Yeah,
me really
yeah.
bad. So it took me, normally when I write a book it can take about 2 weeks to a month, but this book took me a whole year. Like, it took me a
Mm.
long time for me to write this book, because I cried so much and I didn't want to come from a place of being bitter, because people can tell when you're bitter, because you'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, God, rain down fire and hailstorm on this person and blah blah blah. I couldn't do that. I had to pray like, God bless them, God prosper them, God, I pray they make it and be successful. So I had to really really come from that loving place. So it took a year for me to get over the hurt. So when I saw that person on social media or in passing, I didn't feel like, or some kind of way. I wasn't reliving the hurt anymore. But I,
Mm-hmm.
began to feel sorry for them. Like, wow, So that's what the book's about. It's about healing. It's about getting deliverance and not being bitter, and still being able to lead and be able to serve, because being a minister or being in ministry is service. Like, Jesus came in the form of a servant. So we talked about earlier about time, giving time. I'm always giving time. Like, I laugh. I'm like, God, my last name is Moses, because I feel like Moses in scripture, working from sun
Mm-hmm.
up to sundown,
Yeah.
because I'm always giving time. Like, I get a lot of prayer requests. I get a lot of people saying, can they talk to me, asking me for advice. And then I have to do my other projects and things like that for my businesses, my publishing company, my insurance business. So and then I got to try to spend time with my family and kids and all that stuff, in the midst of that. So I'm always giving time. I'm always serving in some kind of capacity. So serving from a place of love and a pure heart, because God looks at your heart, and not coming from a
Mm-hmm.
place of bitterness. Because you can tell when somebody hurt, because the whole messages are just about hurt. What
Mm-hmm.
somebody did to them, about haters and things like that. But what about giving people encouragement and helping them move on and go forward? So that's
Mm-hmm.
what the book is about.
You was the strongest one to do that. And you have to love your enemies as much as you love yourself, because like he said, God, he said, you didn't do this to me. He said, God sent me first
Ooh, yes.
to save you. And so even those that have talked about us, even those that have done us wrong, like you said, we still have to hold some type of accountability for ourselves, because God put us in this position and
Yeah.
he sent us first for those who criticize, those who hate.
Then I'm just going to be able to encourage you as well, because I know how it feels to be discouraged. I had anxiety for 5 years. So I know how it feels to be your worst enemy, talk yourself out of something.
Mhm,
When God called Moses, Moses was like, God, I stutter. God, I can't.
mhm.
So you're going to hear some positive words or affirmations so you can do what God is calling you to do.
I mean, everything that you said, I totally agree with, because to do things on this level, like podcasting, Facebook broadcasting, radio talk show host, and things of that nature, you have to be transparent.